Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Like all Note launches, this is one we've been eagerly waiting for. Now that I finally have it with me, let's see how it stacks up when pitted against a certain popular flagship from earlier this year, the OnePlus 7 Pro. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and today we're gonna compare these two flagships to see which one is actually the better buy. So if you do kinda like these sort of videos, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and ring that bell to get on our notification squad. These are two very different phones, and you can see that right from the moment you pick them up. Like most 2019 flagships, the Note 10 as well as the OnePlus 7 Pro come in a glass sandwich design. But that's where the similarities end. We have Gorilla Glass 5 to the front and back on the OnePlus 7 Pro, while Samsung has opted for the newer Gorilla Glass 6 on the Note 10. When it comes to colors, OnePlus gives you three choices: Mirror Grey, Nebula Blue, and finally Almond. These look beautiful, but I feel Samsung's Aura Glow with the Note 10 is prettier. This is Samsung's take on gradient backs, and there is nothing else out there quite like this. It's pretty unique. If you do think it's a bit too flashy, the Note 10 also comes in Aura Black and Aura Red, both of which look beautiful in their own right. All that said, at the end of the day, design is personal preference. I prefer Samsung's Aura Glow, my wife prefers OnePlus's Almond, my colleague Rishabh wants more rose gold. I'm gonna leave color choices to you guys and instead move on straight to the build quality and in-hand feel. The Note 10, with its 6.3-inch display, it's probably pushing the limits of single-handed usage. But thanks to those thin bezels, the curved back, and a fairly light 168-gram weight, you might still be able to get away with using it single-handed. The 7 Pro though, it is pretty much a lot more heavier at 206 grams, and it's got a larger 6.67-inch screen. So single-handed usage here is a little more difficult. Now one hand or two, both phones do feel really slippery, which is why I have a dbrand skin on my OnePlus 7 Pro, and my Note 10 dbrand skin is also on the way. Dbrand has a ton of perfectly cut skins for all the popular flagship phones out there. There are a lot of options to choose from, so if you want to buy the perfect skin for your phone, do check out Dbrand. I'll leave a link to my sponsors Dbrand in the description below. Now coming back, both these phones are modern flagships and have excellent build quality, but come with the same cons that all glass phones have. So ending this round, the Note 10 has one final advantage. It's got IP68 certification for dust and water resistance, while the OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus says they did not want to spend on the certification, but they did take all necessary precautions for day-to-day water resistance. They said they're doing this to keep the costs low, make whatever you want of that. Overall, the IP rating, lighter weight, and better protection means this round, I'm gonna give it to the Note 10. Taking a look at the displays next, both these phones use AMOLED tech, but the marketing terms are different. Samsung markets its display as Dynamic AMOLED, while OnePlus calls it Fluid AMOLED. OnePlus does have a reason for the terminology though. The refresh rate on the OnePlus 7 Pro's display is 90Hz. This means whatever you do on the OnePlus 7 Pro, even if it's something as menial as just swiping through the home screen, it's much smoother, and this difference is really noticeable when you play games that support the higher refresh rate. Now on the other hand, the Note 10 has a traditional 60Hz display. It also has a punch hole to the top, which I find distracting compared to the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is all screen. And it's not just that, the OnePlus 7 Pro also gets one more advantage: the resolution. It's Quad HD Plus compared to Full HD Plus on the Note 10. So the pixel density is higher, meaning everything is sharper and crisper on the OnePlus 7 Pro's AMOLED panel. So the higher resolution and refresh rate combined with the all-screen AMOLED mean whatever you do on the OnePlus 7 Pro, it just feels a lot more immersive. So when it comes to the display, I'm gonna give it to the OnePlus 7 Pro. So since we touched upon gaming, let's consider the other aspects that are important to gaming. First, the sound. Both phones offer stereo speaker output, but when it comes to loudness and overall richness, I feel the OnePlus 7 Pro does fare better. Next, specs. Both phones sport flagship internals. The Note 10 has the Exynos 9825 in India and Snapdragon 855 in other markets, while the OnePlus 7 Pro runs on the Snapdragon 855 everywhere. Keeping benchmark scores aside, these two phones can match each other blow for blow. From running multiple apps at once to playing a demanding title like PUBG, they are equally fast and fluid. As for variants, OnePlus offers 3: 6128, 8256 and 12256 RAM storage. On the other hand, Samsung offers only one: 8256. Me personally, I feel there's pretty much nothing to push even 6 gigs of RAM on Android, so 8 or even 6 should be plenty enough. The deciding factor for you should be storage, since both these phones do not have microSD support. Now, talking about storage, both these phones have UFS 3.0, but the Note 10 seems to have faster read-write speeds than the OnePlus 7 Pro. That said, overall, with regards to performance, there's not really much between these two. So let's move on to battery. Now, the OnePlus 7 Pro has a 4000 mAh battery that's 15% more than the 3500 mAh battery on the Note 10. That said, the OnePlus 7 Pro does sport a larger, higher resolution display with a higher refresh rate. So the battery life gain, it isn't huge. However, if you do lower the resolution and refresh rate, you should end up with a bit of a gain on battery life. But that kind of defeats the purpose of going with a OnePlus 7 Pro in the first place, doesn't it? Anyway, when it comes to charging speeds, the OnePlus 7 Pro has proprietary watt charging that charges at up to 30 watts, while the Note 10 charges at up to 25 watts. That said, the Note somehow manages to charge faster. I know it sounds weird, but the overall charging times even for the Note 10 Plus with its 4300 mAh battery with a 25 watt charger, it is faster than the 4000 mAh battery on the OnePlus 7 Pro and its 30 watt charger. It's just weird. Now, another advantage for the Note 10 is the fact that it supports wireless charging. So all this taken into account, this round battery, it's the Note 10. Now, coming to the software side of things, we have OxygenOS 9.5 running on the OnePlus 7 Pro, while the Note 10 has One UI version 1.5. Both of them are built on top of Android 9 Pie. Now, it's no secret that I love the stockish OxygenOS. It is just so smooth and snappy when it comes to opening up apps or scrolling through the menus, all the more so on this 90Hz panel. That said, One UI on the Note 10 is not slow at all. In fact, it's gotten rid of many of the small hiccups and frame drops that have plagued the Note series since its inception. I like the material design inspired look that Samsung has gone for with One UI, and on the new Note 10, everything just flies. But if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the stockish OxygenOS on the OnePlus 7 Pro. But then again, this is again personal preference, so feel free to swap the point around if you like One UI more. Now, before we talk cameras, let's have a quick look at the sundries. Both phones don't have a headphone jack, but only the Note 10 comes with a pair of Type-C earphones in the box. We get an in-display fingerprint scanner on both devices again, but the Note 10 has an advantage since it uses the technically superior ultrasonic scanner. That said, the OnePlus 7 Pro's scanner, it happens to be faster. When it comes to face unlock, OnePlus still remains lightning fast despite the pop-up camera, and it's on par with Samsung on most occasions. The OnePlus 7 Pro also comes with a physical alert slider, something the Note 10 lacks. But the Note 10 hits right back with DeX support, so you can control your phone right from Windows with a mouse and keyboard. And then we have what makes the Note 10 a Note, the S Pen. Now, of course, Samsung has some gimmicky air gestures this year, but even without taking them into account, the S Pen is amazing for those who get used to it. The handwriting recognition, it's been improved greatly this year. If you are a content creator, there's nothing quite like this on a phone anywhere. So sundries, it's the Note 10 all the way. Now finally, it's time we discussed cameras. We have triple camera setups on the back of both these phones. On the Note 10, the primary is an OIS-enabled 12 megapixel sensor with a variable f1.5 and f2.4 aperture. On the other hand, OnePlus has that 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor, again with OIS on that f1.6 lens. Under good lighting conditions, both these cameras take excellent pictures, there's good levels of detail, the colors look punchy. The Note 10 does better with dynamic range in some shots though. Like see the leaves in the shadow here. The Note 10 has pulled out so much more detail. Both phones also have wide-angle cameras. The detail levels here are again on par since both these are 16 megapixel sensors. The Note 10 again seems to have better dynamic range. See how blue the sky is in this shot. The images seem a tad bit brighter as well. Interesting considering both of them have the same f2.2 aperture. The OnePlus 7 Pro has a pretty good wide-angle shooter, but the Note 10 seems a step ahead. And the final camera on both, it's a telephoto option. Now, this one is very interesting since we have a 3x zoom option with 8 megapixel photos captured by the OnePlus 7 Pro, while Samsung does 2x optical zoom with their 12 megapixel telephoto camera. Both of them have OIS on board. Now, zooming in 3x on the Note 10 reduces details by a lot, so if you want more optical zoom, OnePlus is the clear favorite here. But there is one more use for the telephoto camera: portrait shots. The ones taken by the OnePlus phone, they are more zoomed in, kinda like what you would see with the iPhone. Here, I personally prefer the Note 10. It captures more of the subject and the skin tones seem more natural. As far as edge detection goes, they are both pretty similar. It is worth mentioning that Samsung lets you adjust the amount of background blur that you want and also lets you shoot live focus photos with both the primary as well as the telephoto camera. Now, on the selfie side of things, we can immediately see that the OnePlus, it captures a wider image than the Note 10. The details from that 16 megapixel selfie shoot, or the IMX471 on the OnePlus 7 Pro, they're pretty much on par with the 10 megapixel snapper found on the Galaxy Note 10. Again, I feel like the skin tones are a bit lighter on the OnePlus. Samsung captures more natural colors here. When it comes to selfie portraits, the edge reduction is decent. Samsung though has a ton of fun modes that you can play around with. I really like the monochrome one. Oh, and they work with the rear portrait mode as well. Would make for some cool Instagram pictures, right? Now, coming to low light shots, we can see that on auto mode with the primary camera, they are almost on par. So time to switch on the night mode. Or well, as OnePlus calls it, nightscape. Here the Note 10 starts to pull ahead. We have much brighter images with more detail. Nightscape kinda struggles with noise, and the Note 10, it also manages to retain colors better. It is worth noting that the night mode works for the other two cameras too with the Note 10. While the results aren't as good as they are for the primary, it is an option that's not present on the OnePlus 7 Pro. As far as videos are concerned, we have 4K 60 FPS on both, great detail levels, good dynamic range, and OIS helps out with the stabilization. The colors look similarly good, but the ones on the Note 10, they seem to pop a bit more. We also have the Super Steady option on the Note 10. Now that limits your resolution down to 1080-30, but you do get really smooth footage here. Now, that is not all. The Note 10 also comes with a few more tricks up its sleeve. When it comes to video, you can do portrait mode. Yes, for video you can do portrait mode. Samsung calls it live focus video. The edge detection here is not great, but it is an option and it is there. There's also monochrome background and glitch effects, and all three of these are available for the selfie camera too. So basically, when it comes to cameras, the Note 10 has a ton more to offer. Yes, some of them are gimmicks, but some like Super Steady, they are very useful. So the Note 10 wins this round. Now finally, it's time to talk price. The 6128 OnePlus 7 Pro starts at 49,000 rupees, while the 8256 Note 10 comes in at 70,000 rupees. Now that's a huge price difference, 21,000 rupees. Now if we actually end up taking the OnePlus 7 Pro's 256 variant, the 8256, that OnePlus 7 Pro comes in at 53,000 rupees. So it's still a 17,000 rupee price difference. So is the Note 10 worth this price difference? Well, if you really like the video features, the Aura Glow design, the S Pen, then the Note 10 might be worth it for you. It is the more feature-packed phone here. But if it's better bang for your buck that you're after, in this case, that's the OnePlus 7 Pro. It even outdoes the Note 10 in some cases, like that Fluid AMOLED display, that refresh rate, and that super snappy Oxygen OS. So what is it that you want? Based on that, you get to pick the device here. If it is more features, if it's the overall better phone, if it's the more feature-packed phone with the better cameras that you seek, then go Note 10. If it's the S Pen you want, go Note 10. But if it's the better bang for your buck, if you want that 90Hz display, if you want that stockish Oxygen OS, then go OnePlus 7 Pro. So I guess that's it for this comparison video. Now time for you to let me know what you think about these two in the comments below. Which one would you choose, the OnePlus 7 Pro or the Galaxy Note 10? Now also let me know what video would you like to see me do next with the Note 10 or the Note 10 Plus. Also, thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about this video. Subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.